Welcome to the Bada Bing post-draft review special. I am your commissioner and host, Patio Joe. You can find me on Twitter at Patio Joe Ref. And I'm joined here today by my fellow Wise Take Bro, my fellow Italiano, Paulie D. Most of you don't know him, but if you watch any of the podcasts that we do on Wise Take on the YouTube channel, Paulie D is our GPP man. I wanted him to come on here today and look at the draft as a third person, totally objective, who has nothing to do with the league. We're gonna go through the draft and kind of like not even give grade, just kind of see if they did a good draft, what we liked about it, what we didn't like about it, and who we think are the strongest teams. So say what's up, Paulie, to the Bada Bing.
What's up, Bada Bing Nation? Happy to be here.
Yeah. So, anyways, so we'll just get right into it. This is the 16th year that we've had our league. We started out as the Outback Fantasy League. It was a bunch of Outback servers. And then it kind of turned into the Bada Bing. And now it's basically we're all kind of, some of us are married with kids now and everything. We started out as servers, and now we all got lives and stuff like that. It's kind of cool, and but we still get together. Basically, once, every, once a year, and just kind of talk about, the get together and say hi to each other and get to hang out with each other.
That's awesome, though, dude.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
I saw the belt. Like, that's cool. I love this draft board that you posted on Twitter with all the picks. Like,
yeah,
it looks like a lot of fun. I wish I was in your league.
Yeah, it's fun. We've definitely evolved. I mean, last year was the first year that I went to an audio form of the podcast of the newsletter where I would go over each game or each matchup and who I thought's going to win. So now we're on the video, believe it or not, just a year later, and so let's get right into it. Let's start off. I want to start off with the team with the number one pick. He started off with Calvin Johnson. Obviously, that was a no-brainer. But then
David Johnson.
Calvin Johnson. David Johnson. That was a no-brainer. And then he went on from Dez and Baldwin. Why don't you tell us what you think about his first few picks?
I mean, I personally would have gone Le'Veon Bell, but that's a preference thing. They're very, very close, but I like the way his first three picks worked out. Stud running back and two, receivers that could be number one. So I like them a lot. I think Dez Bryant's going to have a huge year, especially with Ezekiel being out in the beginning. I think he can really rack up some big games in the early going. And any tough games, like he's going to be Dez's go-to guy. Like I think as long as he stays healthy, it's going to be a huge year for him. And I love Baldwin. I think he'll have a monster year with Seattle. And, those three guys I like a lot. Mm-hmm. So
yeah, and then he followed it up with, Ingram. It's a little bit, I just don't know about that situation. Diggs is good. Snead, love Snead. John Brown is a little bit of a reach, I think, at that spot. Kyle Rudolph, he was like the number one tight end at the end of the year last year. And he waited the longest out of any team to pick his quarterback, and he still got Jameis Winston. So I think he did a really good job. Yeah, he's got such a good ceiling this year. I really like what Casper Klunkers Vince has done. He's been knocking on the door for years. He's been in second and third. He's never won the title, but he's getting really close. Let's move on to number two. From somebody that's never won a title, this is Mr. Worldwide. He has been in the league since the beginning. He's one of the four founding fathers, me and three other guys. He's one of them. He has never won the league, but he is the biggest mouth in the league. So you can imagine he doesn't care. He keeps talking, and it's great. So he started out with Le'Veon Bell, and obviously we know how you feel about Bell, but personally his next two picks I did not like. I thought Lamar Miller was way too early compared to the other running backs when it comes to upside that you can get. Lamar Miller he's just not really good, much upside. And then DeAndre Hopkins, I just don't know about the quarterback. I don't know about Deshaun Watson. I don't know about Tom Savage. I don't even want to really go there. Like, I want somebody else to jump on that grenade. I might be saying that a lot. But what do you think about those next two picks? I wasn't in love with that.
Yeah, Lamar Miller, it was the first thing I didn't like. Especially like with Dez Bryant on the board and him having a stud running back. Like I would have wanted to go receiver there or Baldwin afterwards, And I'm looking at the running backs after, like if he had to go running back, like I think I would have taken Carlos Hyde earlier than Lamar Miller. But the Hopkins pick, I love. I think he's going to have a huge bounce back year. He's freakishly talented, and I think Tom Savage is going to be more than capable of getting him the ball. And then when they do bring in the young kid, I think it's going to continue. So I'm big on Hopkins. I like that pick. And at that point, he needed like a top end possible receiver after going with Lamar Miller. So like I agree with that one. Looking at the other receivers afterwards, like he's definitely got the most upside, I think, of any of the receivers that are coming after.
Now, I think his pick in the 5th round of Martavis Bryant, the upside Martavis has this year is out of this world if he could stay out of trouble. No smoking on the ganja. So after that, though, nothing really just really wows me. I mean, he's got Bennett as his quarterback, which I think is great for about 8 to 10 games this year. But there's going to be those 4 or 5 games where he's on the road, he's getting destroyed. I like the upside pick. The thing about his only tight end being Julius Thomas, I think it's a little bit of a stretch. I think that he's hoping that Cutler and Thomas are going to get some magic like they did back in. They played together in Denver, didn't they? I think maybe for a year.
I don't know if they did, but
no, I know they may have.
There's definitely potential for that, and you can usually find a tight end on the waiver wire.
Yeah, I agree.
Like I'm not too terrible with that. I like the pick of Marshall. I think Odell Beckham, there's a chance for him to get hurt and Marshall to emerge into like a bigger role. AP, I think there's upside. That's a very like unknown spot, but that deep in the draft, like he could emerge as a top running back. Yeah,
exactly.
So those picks are fine. The others I'm not too excited about.
Yeah, Mohamed Sanu in the 11th round is way too early. Cole Beasley's a better receiver than that. And he got him 2 rounds later. So, anyways, let's move on to the 3rd team, the Hogs. Trevor, he's won the league 2 times. After taking a year break 2 years ago, he was back last year. He's back for his 2nd year. He picked Beckham in the 1st round, but that was just because he made a trade with the number 5 team. So he actually picked number 5, and he had Beckham. And then he followed it up with Gurley and Fournette. I like Gurley. Fournette, I'm a little bit low on. I just don't like the way that things are going in Jacksonville. I don't like their schedule.
Yeah.
And then
like he's like a first half back, and then they're going to be throwing the whole second half every game.
Yeah. And then, he followed it up with, Tyreek Hill, which he has some major upside. I'm just not sure how much. I don't know if he's going to be as good as last year. People are going to start game planning for him now. Kelsey, I like. Ryan is good. And then he basically just a slew of receivers to just back it up. He's weak at running back. If Gurley or Fournette get hurt, Forte better do something or he's going to be in trouble.
And I don't think Forte is going to have much of a role this year.
No, so he's definitely. I think you think about Gurley that I like. He has like the easiest schedule the first 4 weeks of the season. Like he's facing like I have. I see if I can find it. I know he's facing week 1. He's facing Indianapolis, which is he's just terrible. They're the
and this is a
one.
PPR league. Yeah, full point. Like we saw him emerge as a player in the passing game, and we could see that kind of grow a little bit more this year. And I think Gurley has a chance to be like a top 5 running back this year.
Yeah. And what do you think about those other picks, those mid-round picks of the receivers? Anybody I like? I mean, I kind of like, of those 4 receivers, I like Rashard Matthews and Kenny Britt the most. I don't think John Russ this year is going to have much upside at all.
Me neither. And I like Cobb. Like if anybody gets injured, he can, have a major role. And even if nobody does, I think he's the 3rd receiver in a team that passes a ton. And I think he'll probably, get a lot of soft matchups where he gets, where he could have some big upside kind of games. So I like the Cobb pick that late.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to team number 4. Team number 4 is yours truly, Househead, 2-time winner, won the league in 2015. And after last year, I actually, believe it or not, Paulie, I've been in the last 7 years or 8 years, I've been like the most consistent team. And I've been like 3rd, 2nd, 1st, all last 6-7 years. So
wow.
It's luck. When you get to the playoffs, it's luck. So I just feel like if you can get into the Final Four, anything can happen. And that's what my goal is every year. So I started off with Julio Jones. I liked him more than Beckham this year, strictly on I think that I liked his schedule better, and I like the fact that there's not as much mouths to feed in the passing game in Atlanta.
Sure.
So, and then I went with, I think, in my opinion, I know myself, I'm a very conservative drafter. But I went very aggressive my next two picks with Terrell Pryor and Kareem Hunt. My thought on Pryor is he was not going to be there in the third round when I came back. And as for Kareem Hunt, I had three running backs on my board at the time. I had Hunt, I had Crowell, and I had Cooks, the guy from Minnesota, Dalvin Cook.
Yep,
and
Dalvin Cook.
And I knew that I was only going to be able to get one of them. So in my mind, I wanted to go with who was in the best situation. And in that moment, it was either between Hunt or Crowell, because I think Crowell's a great value this year with their with their offensive line. But I just thought Hunt, the way that Andy Reid has got just a history of just feeding the main back, so I went with him. And then finally, for the first five picks, no quarterback was picked in the fifth round, and I said if Rodgers, Breeze, or Brady were there in the fifth round, I normally wouldn't take them. I did. And that in tune, though, makes my running backs a little bit weak because I don't have much depth. What do you think about my team?
Yeah, like Julio Jones. So Atlanta just put in a whole new turf in their stadium, and he's already been complaining about it. And he had a bunch of turf toe injuries last year, so I think he's very risky. But if he stays healthy, he could have a monster year. So that's like a very boom-bust pick, and I hope it pays off for you. Pryor, I think you reached for. I do like him. I do want him. And I think you might have gotten him if you didn't take him there. But, like I just think Dez Bryant and Baldwin and Hopkins are just guaranteed better seasons than Pryor at this spot. And there was a chance he was going to come around to you. So I think you reached there a little bit. But I do like him, and I think he's going to have a good year, so it should work out. Hunt, I'm fine with there because you needed a running back. Larry Fitzgerald, there's a path to a lot of touchdowns for him, even though he's getting old. Aaron Rodgers, best quarterback, I think for fantasy, so it should pay off for you. Then who's this Johnson? I can't make it out. Duke Johnson. It's a good running back. If anything happens to Crowell, he could, he'd
Plus, they're going to play in the slot, though, too. You're going to play him in the slot this year.
He's going to play in the slot, PPR, like that. Pierre Gaston going to be the main guy. I like what you did late in this thing. You got a lot of value.
Pairing Martellus Bennett with Rodgers was
that's awesome. Martellus Bennett's going to be awesome with them.
Yeah, so I went with some upside, and then I kind of went with just three guys running backs that I think I could fill in every week's he's got a good matchup over Duke Johnson. I'll put in Riddick this week because he's going to get some good targets because they allow the 10th, they allow the most catches out of the backfield, so they're going to throw to Riddick. So something like that. Let's move on to the next team. Team number 5, the Bills. He has never won it. He is my former roommate. We give him shit all the time. He is famous for picking Fred Jackson in the 5th round when Fred Jackson was McCoy got hurt, I guess, and he had a pull time, so he was going to miss a week. And it was right during the draft, so he thought he'd be a brilliant person and draft Fred Jackson in the 5th round. So ever since then, it was hashtag Fred Jackson in the 5th round, and we've just been giving him shit.
Nice.
Ever since then. I think personally, let me go first because I love just ripping into him. Okay, so Antonio Brown, he drafted him 3rd. I love him. I think him though, he picking back and moving back 4 spots, and the guys that he got, I don't like at where he got him. I like Crabtree, just not as a 3rd round pick where he really got him because he had 2 3rd round picks. So we got Crabtree and Demaryius. I don't like either. I want to stay away from that whole situation there. This isn't a GPP contest where Demaryius, he could grow off today because nobody's going to be on him. Well, you got to keep him for the whole year. I like what he did with Marshawn Lynch. I was going to pick him if he was still available at the very next week, so he sniped that. I'll give him that. Jordan Reed, you can step on that grenade this year. I had him last year. It's a roller coaster. Here's where I think he kind of went off the rails a little bit. I think Rob Kelly's way too early, and I think Gillislee is way too early. I can't see where I can put my finger on there. At the end of the year, Rob Kelly's going to be there. I think Samaje Perine is going to be the starting back by the end of the year. And Rob Kelly, if this was a standard league, that's fine. He doesn't catch the ball, and if he doesn't score a touchdown, he's not going to get you his value.
But in PPR, that's tough.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So. And then I think he picked Sam Bradford on a. I guess he screwed up. Yeah, he screws up. Yeah, you know what I mean. So, and
Yeah.
he wanted. So he already drafted him and picked up Stafford. And then this is what I don't get. To me, this is one of the dumbest picks of the draft. Jason Witten as your second tight end, when you have Jordan, there's no point of that. Every single tight end that was picked after Jason Witten is better and with more upside. Brait, Hooper, Julius Thomas, and AJ Doyle. So that's one of the dumbest picks of the draft. I just don't get it. It just made me I was just like, my God. Anyways, what do you think of his team?
Yeah, I agree. He's got a lot of low ceiling kind of players. I like the Cousins-Reed combo. If Reed stays healthy, he's one of the best tight ends in the game. But then Demaryius Thomas, I don't think has much upside. Marshawn Lynch, I think, is a risk of getting injured, more than he has risk, upside. Rob Kelly, not for PPR. Gillisley, I don't even know, if he'll have a role by the end of the year. Frank Gore, that team's going to be coming from behind, so he's a first-half running back. He didn't have many touchdowns. The Bradford pick, that's, no reason to get him. There's a lot of picks I don't really agree with either.
Yeah.
Outside of getting Antonio Brown, I think, and Cousins and Reed.
Yeah, Lynch ain't bad either where he got him, so... Anyways, we'll move on to team number 6. Darren, I think his name is now Big Baller Brand. He is a new team. I got to say, for a new team and a fairly new player to fantasy, he kind of he was safe, went with McCoy and Murray, and I can't fault that ever. They're going to be pretty safe picks. Then he went with T.Y. Hilton. As long as Andrew Luck gets back, he's going to be fine. Sanders, I'm not really high on it. He went with Brady, which was good, and McFadden's going to be fine. His one mistake was he didn't back up DeMarco Murray with Derrick Henry, and he picked 2 tight ends with Hunter Henry and Cameron Brate. Maybe his best value pick was Chris Hogan in the 10th round, but that's about it. It's a very decent team. With Brady, it could go with 2 running backs if they stay healthy. It's going to be a decent team.
Yeah, I like the Hunter Henry pick. I think he'll emerge as their premier tight end this year and have a lot of touchdowns. I think, LaShawn McCoy, I think, should have a huge year. I like Murray. T.Y. is going to have a monster year if Luck is healthy, and I think he'll be fine. I think Luck's going to be there most of the year. Adam Thielen's got upside. I like this team for the most part. I just think, towards the bottom, he didn't get much, upside kind of players. He got more safe guys outside of Hogan and maybe Corey Davis. Eddie Lacy as your 3rd running back or 4th running back. I don't think there's much upside in that. Robert Woods, Cameron Brate when you already have Henry. So, it's a decent team, though. It's one of the ones I like more than the ones we've gone through so far.
Good. So we'll move on to this team number 7. Start out with a guy that I'm pretty high on, AJ Green. I like him. Gronk is probably the wild card on his team. If he stays healthy and blows up, his team's going to be good. I love Crowell. We've already talked about him. Breeze is going to be there. He kind of cornered the Ravens running back. I don't know how each of them is going to be good. I don't think you can play them both in the same week. That's his one problem with running back. And then after that, I think that, he's okay. But after that, it just kind of went off the rails. There's no reason to draft Jared Goff. He's a Rams fan. You don't draft with your heart. Thanks for playing. That's what I say when you draft with your heart. So
yeah, Goff will be in the free agent pool, in 2 weeks. But I actually like this guy's team at the top. I think AJ Green is the best. Going to have the best season of all the receivers. Gronk, if he stays healthy, there's tons of upside there. I really like Crowell. So his first 3 guys, top end starters, and then Allen Robinson. I think he's going to have a resurgence if, one of those quarterbacks figures it out. Then Drew Brees, I think he'll be not as good as years past, but still very, very good. Woodhead or West, Sammy Watkins, I think, has got a lot of potential, but towards the bottom, again, Jamal Charles, Perriman, these guys, Goff, I don't think they have much potential, but he'll probably end up dropping them and picking somebody else up that emerges. But I like the core of his team. I just don't think he has a ton of depth.
I'm with it too. Let's move on to team number 8. This is Definitely, we can talk about this team. We could probably have a whole podcast on this team. But team number 8 is the Reno Gades. He is the defending champion, and he's definitely made some interesting picks the last time. He started off with Jay Ajayi, and he went with Ezekiel Elliott. Now, if I told you he's a Cowboy fan, you would believe me, and he did, which is fine. I think then, I just don't think. Here's what I think. One, you went with Elliott, so you already got a guy. Then you go with Joe Mixon and Kelvin Benjamin, and I'm not high. Kelvin Benjamin's his number one receiver. I don't like that. Joe Mixon's going to be mixed in, and you already don't have Elliott. And then you go with Jameson Crowder. I like that. Then this is probably the reach of the draft. 6th round, Marvin Jones. I don't get it. I don't get it. 6th round, Marvin Jones. Delaney Walker, I like. Dak Prescott, like I said, he's a Cowboys fan. Chris Rogers is fine. Gio Bernard is like the 3rd running back. Nobody knows what he's going to do. Then he picks Dan Bailey, who's not even the best kicker in the league. If you're going to pick a kicker as the first kicker, you pick Justin Tucker. Everybody knows that. And then Palmer is his 2nd quarterback. Well, if you like Prescott so much, why'd you pick Palmer? And then we just got the biggest laugh of everybody. Cleveland Browns as the first defense taken off the board. If you're hiring Cleveland Browns
definitely contrarian.
As the first, you could have got them where you got and then he picks 2 defenses and he gets the Steelers. By the way, they're playing each other week 1 and they have the same bye week. So sometimes trust me, this guy has done it weird. He's won it 3 times. I don't get it. We don't understand it, but it's not logical. So, anyways, what do you think?
Clown. I'm throwing my phone down.
I like the top of this team, but yeah, there's I think Zeke is a little too early, although he could get that suspension reduced. Kelvin Benjamin, that's tough as your number 1 receiver. Joe Mixon, I don't think is a lock to be the starter or have a huge role, so I think that's very risky. And then the Browns defense could have got them later, probably as a free agent.
Mm-hmm.
There's definitely some work to do on this team.
Yeah. So, anyways, let's move on to the number 9 team. This is Brent Hoofers, who has won it 4 times. He started out with Jordan Howard, very safe pick. Then he went with Amari Cooper. Personally, Amari Cooper is the most overrated person in fantasy football this year. I hate him. I will not draft him anywhere unless it's like the 5th or 6th round. It's just personally, I just don't like his matchups all year. And I think Crabtree will be a better, more productive. Ty Montgomery is fine. Jarvis Landry, you said you love. There's some conflicting reports that Cutler's going to like Parker better. And then Abdullah Olsen Lee, Marquise Lee, I don't know about him. That's way too early. Shepard, too early. Coleman and Derek Carr, I'm all right with. There's just not much. I think it just kind of tails off really bad towards the end of the draft. What do you got?
Yeah, dude.
Nice.
Hang on one sec. I gotta switch spots. I had some company come over.
They keep kicking you out.
Yeah, they keep kicking me out.
Moving
They
you.
keep kicking me out. All right, so.
All right. We lost you. We lost you. Oh, there you go. Okay.
Yeah, I'm back. I am back. All right, so that team
Jordan
was
Howard.
the Howard team.
Jordan Howard.
Yeah, Jordan
Mark
Howard,
Cooper.
I am not high on at all. So, I just using your first pick on that guy, in my opinion, on a team that's going to be horrible. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I don't like that at all. Amari Cooper, I like a lot of upside there. I like the Ty Montgomery play. I think he's going to get a ton of goal line carries because that team, moves the ball a lot. Jarvis Landry, I told you before the show, I really like this year. I think Jay Cutler likes to find the slot, and this guy's got a ton of talent and just hadn't shown much promise because of Tannehill being terrible and the O-line the years before. So, I like that spot. Abdullah, I think, is an underrated guy, so getting him there I think is good. Olsen, Mr. Consistent. I kind of like this team. Derek Carr, I think, is going to do well. I like this team.
Yeah,
I like it. Shepard, if Odell gets hurt, he'll emerge. So he's got some upside. later rounds, and he's got some solid guys at the top. I just don't like the Howard pick with the first one.
Yeah, I mean Abdullah. Here's my thing about Abdullah. He's not going to get the goal line carries, and he's not going to get the passing down because Riddick's going to get that, and then the other guy's going to vulture the white guy. I can't remember. His name.
So, weird name.
That's my thing about Abdullah. I just think guys like Marquise Lee, Sterling Shepard, and Corey Coleman probably would have been there, and then later on, and then Alfred Morris, Eli Rogers, and Chris Ivory. I like Travis Benjamin. That guy has been great already twice in the preseason. He's caught 2 bombs. So he's going to be – by the way, if you guys are playing DFS this year, Travis Benjamin is a great GPP sleeper play. He's going to be so cheap. And he's already caught 2 bombs in the preseason and big ones. So they said he's doing awesome. And as a Charger fan, I don't tout Chargers too much. So I really like Travis Benjamin. Let's move on. We got 3 more teams to go. This is the team I think of. If you knew the guy teaching, his name is Berlin Bob. Is Dick Lecce is his team. His name is Dick Lecce, but I call him Berlin Bob. And he is. I think he started out with a great first 4 picks for himself. Mike Evans, Brandon Cooks, Carlos Hyde, and C.J. Anderson. And then I like Devontae Parker as a good upside pick. We do know Cutler likes to throw it deep too, and so he'll be the deep guy. Terrell Williams is good. He got Cam, who I think is going to bounce back. After that, it is what it is. After that, but I think he's got a good start.
Yeah, and I agree. This team started off pretty well. Evans, though, is a guy that's a question mark for me. Like, I think he's going to do well overall, but another guy I think is a little overrated. Like, I would have grabbed Gordon first, or even Nelson. I think he'll have a better year. Like, I think Tampa has added a lot of weapons that he's not going to get as much targets and attention. Mm-hmm. But I like the upside of Cooks. I think Hyde's going to be a great play. Like, he's all that team has for offense. Mm-hmm. And he's shown this preseason he can catch out of the backfield and get the carries. So I like that. C.J. Anderson, I think, is going to have a good year with the poor quarterbacks. I think they're going to focus on him a bunch. And Jimmy Graham could have a rebound year. Parker's a great pick. Cam could have a great year. Macklin's got upside. So he's got depth and a lot of picks that I like, and a lot of big-time upside plays. So there's a good squad for sure. Yeah. I tend to like the teams towards the end of this draft more.
Yeah.
And, that's interesting because I haven't had a draft yet. My first one was this Thursday. Mm-hmm. And, I don't even know, what picks I'm getting, but I'm hoping I'm drafting towards the end based on, what I've been seeing.
Yeah, I had a draft. I had a second draft last night, and I was a 7th spot. And I went a little bit different, and I kind of like the makeup of that team almost just as much as my first team.
Who'd you get first?
I got McCoy at 7, so I thought he was okay at 7.
Yeah, I mean he's gonna be the horse, and he's great. He's gonna go off in that first Jets game. Mm-hmm. But he had a bunch of monster games last year. As long as he stays healthy, you'll get a great season out of him.
All right, great. So we got 2 more teams to go. This is the one team that you said was probably your favorite when first look. You started off with Melvin Gordon and Michael Thomas. Alshon Jeffrey, if he comes back big, he's going to be huge. I love Dalvin Cook. Doug Martin, after the first few weeks, he's going to lock down that running back. He's going to have 3 great running backs. And then if anything happens to DeMarco Murray, he's got 4 good running backs. Then he's got Devontae Adams and Tyler Eifert. Got Andrew Luck, even just to have him as a luxury. I mean, I was thinking of him at that point.
He can pick and choose who's going to start for him most weeks.
I mean, Mariota, and I think that it was just too good of a mind. And then he got a good upside with Marlon Mack. This is a team where you see the back. It's this is upside. Some of the teams in the bottom of the draft, they had no upside at all. Even though they might not project right now to have anything, well, all it takes is somebody get hurt. And it's there, What do you think?
Yeah, and note on Alshon Jeffrey, they traded away Matthews, in my opinion, because they realized this guy was the man and they didn't need him anymore. Mm-hmm. So I think that team's going to be losing. They don't have much of a running game. They threw a lot last year, towards the end of the year, out of the shotgun. I think that's going to continue. And I think, if Jeffrey stays healthy, he could have a monster year. Mm-hmm. I love Thomas and Gordon at the top. I think they're both going to do extremely well. We saw Thomas just, just take the wide receiver 1 spot in New Orleans last year, even with Cooks there. So he's a target that Breeze loves to throw to already, and he's just going to get better. Melvin Gordon had a monster year, and, I think you'll see that team in a lot of high-scoring games, and he'll be their go-to guy. The Luck Mariota thing is great. Tyler Eifert could be the best tight end if he stays healthy. He'll line up at receiver. So, yeah, I love this team. There's balance. There's upside. There's, just a lot of good players on here.
Yeah, this team this is his 3rd year in the league. He's won the regular season the first year. Last year, I think he came in 2nd. He's lost 2 or 3 games all each year in the regular season, but in the playoffs, he's lost to the same team each year, and that team has been me. So I've taken him out when it's been most important. So last team, the Rook. I call him my son. He's won it once, and he definitely made fun of me, give me a good joke at the draft, so I give him props. And because he is my son, I'm very proud of him. Anyways, he started off with Jordy Nelson and Devontae Freeman. I like him. I wish he would have backed him up with Tevin Coleman, but you got to almost overdraft at that point. McCaffrey, I just don't know how good he's going to be. I want to say he's going to be good. I want to be on the train, but they don't throw it to their running backs, and until they show it, then I'm maybe I'm on it. Keenan Allen, if he stays healthy, is a top 10 receiver in the league.
Sure.
Paul Perkins, there's nobody else in the league or nobody else on that team to run the ball on a first and second down. And then Russell Wilson, he might have some bad games, but he's going to come back. Moncrief is Moncrief. And then Pro-Size, way too early. Decker.
And he got hurt. Pro-Size.
Yeah. And then, let's see, Latavius Murray, Wendell Smallwood.
Ertz is a good tight end.
Ertz I like. But, yeah, that's about it. You know what? Actually, believe it or not, one of the most underrated picks of the whole draft, Torrey Smith in the second and last round in Philly. I think might have a great
He's got a definite upside for sure.
Yes.
And I love this team, too. I've told you I think McCaffrey's going to be amazing this year, top 6 running back. Yeah, I know they haven't thrown in the past. That's because they didn't have the guys to do it. I think he'll open up that entire offense and will be, him and the tight end and the quarterback are just going to be awesome this year. The way that they can make mismatches with the defense. You'll be able to motion McCaffrey out into the slot, get him the ball there, get him ball and screens, and he's looked so impressive to me in preseason. I love McCaffrey. So starting off with Nelson, Aaron Rodgers' top target, and then Devonta Freeman of the Falcons, another team that scores a lot, and then McCaffrey. I love that. Keenan Allen, he had an unfortunate injury, but you're right, he could be a top 10 receiver. Paul Perkins I don't love, but I think he's going to have the role the whole year, so we'll just get touchdowns because that team moves the ball well, and maybe they'll have some drives that stop inside the 5-yard line. He'll get those carries. And Perkins is a home run threat. He can take a screen to the house. I like Russell Wilson. I like Moncrief. I like that team a lot.
All right, everybody. That's going to do it today for the Bada Bing post-draft review show. I want to thank Paulie D for taking time out and going over the team. Say hi, Tyler, to everybody on the Bada Bing. Can you say hi? Can you wave hi? Can you wave hi to the camera? See, look. See? Wave hi. Yeah, okay. All right, everybody. All right, everybody. So we thank you for joining us today, and everybody, we really appreciate you stopping by. And guys, I hope you like our draft review show, and I will be back with audio podcasts through the years. So as I say, guys, thank you very much. And Polly, thank you also for joining us, and be sure to check us out at wisestake.com. Peace.
Take it easy.